For Liza Hanks, the phrase mom bod accurately described her self-image after having 2 kids.
I felt like, having children had taken a lot of that perkiness, and I felt like, I want to get breast implants.
Liza was unsatisfied with the look of her breasts, and implants were a lasting solution. She moved forward with breast augmentation surgery in 2008. A plastic surgeon inserted saline implants, and Liza felt a newfound confidence. But 7 years later, her health took a turn for the worse.
I found a lump in my right breast, and I went in for a mammogram, scared to death that it was breast cancer.
During the mammogram, the pressure of the machine pushed the implant in her right breast down. She heard a tear and says her right saline implant bottomed out.
I was lopsided, but more importantly, they found a golf ball-sized mass in my right side, and they said, you have to get this out and it has to be biopsied for cancer.
Doctors removed the lump that turned out to be benign and replaced the saline implants with textured silicone ones. When Liza awoke from her procedure, she didn't feel quite right.
I woke up from that surgery and knew immediately something was wrong.
Following the surgery, Liza had a variety of medical problems, starting with her eyes.
They were just purple and red. I would just burn, and it was really hard to see out of them. And I went to various doctors to try and figure out what was causing this weird reaction, why was I having the sensation of burning?
On top of that, Liza's incisions weren't healing, and she experienced inflammation, confusion, anxiety, muscle aches, and food intolerances. Her skin started sloughing off, her hair began falling out, and she lost a lot of weight.
On fire, this is all burnt.
I was put on various topical, injectable, and oral steroids to try and counteract the inflammation that we had no clue. Common sense says it's the implants, you just got implants. But there were so many studies done by the implant manufacturers that it couldn't be the implants, especially where breast implant illness is not recognized by the majority of the medical community.
Liza says she was dying, and her young 31-year-old body began to take the shape of a 92-year-old. At 87 pounds with nowhere else to turn, she sought relief from Dr. Jeffrey Baker.
I'm good friends with her dad. And he basically said, we need someone to help save Liza. She's so sick.
Dr. Baker describes Liza as a medical mystery when she came in to see him.
She came with many, many symptoms, and I'm telling you, she was sick. She was really sick, giving her IVs. We tried IV vitamin therapy, and that didn't seem to do any good.
Dr. Baker says it took some time to get to the root cause of Liza's issue. He met with her often and would go to check on her. One day, he finally found the problem.
I said, Liza, I think that's where it is. The whole story and the whole journey points down to those implants. I really think you need to get those out, because we couldn't find any other real source.
I wasn't willing to die with my breast implants inside my body. I wasn't willing to go down. I told my mom when I said, I am not gonna be buried with these things.
Liza knew what she had to do.
I went to the plastic surgeon that put them in and just said, look, I don't have much time, but I want the implants out. I do believe that this is the answer. And he said, you're just too sick.
But Liza insisted.
There was no proof that my implants were causing this, and they didn't feel right about doing surgery when I was so emaciated. They wanted me to get better first, and there was no hope for that.
How is that possible?
There was no hope for that. So it wasn't until the last-ditch attempt at saving my life. I knew I didn't have much time, and I remember contemplating taking the implants out myself. I was desperate to get them out because I finally had figured out this is what it is. I know it's my breast implants.
With Dr. Baker's help and approval, the implants were removed the next day.
I woke up from that surgery explant. It was performed under local anesthesia, so I was in and out of consciousness during that surgery. But I remember waking up and taking that first full breath, and you explant ladies know what I'm talking about. I took my first full breath, and I no longer felt like I was burning alive on the inside.
From there, her health improved immediately. Her vision, skin, and hair follicles began returning to normal.
I had a lot of immune therapies that I had to be able to find. I walked 2 weeks after post-op into my plastic surgeon. I bounced in there and I was like, hey, I'm alive. And he was like, wow.
In 2017, the National Center for Health Research reported more than 300,000 women and teenagers underwent surgery for breast enlargement with silicone or saline implants. That same year, there were 47,000 removals. While most women have successful surgeries, it's unclear how many report complications due to their breast implants. Because of her experience, Liza now feels responsibility to advocate for women and raise awareness about breast implant illness. After her explant surgery, she even met a man who happened to be a doctor. He supported her throughout her healing, and eventually, they got married.
I want to make you smile.
I still see people that saw me on my deathbed and are completely blown away. And so that's why I'm an advocate for breast implant illness. That was part of the reason I survived. I felt like I had purpose behind the suffering, and I think anytime anything horrific happens to you, or everyone has their battles or horrible things they endure, if you can place a positive purpose for it, it's so that it's not in vain. It's like, man, I suffered for a reason, and this is it.